Well, good afternoon. You're thinking about moving to Baltimore, Maryland, and you're thinking, you don't want the old 1900 style house. You want brand new construction. Well, guess what? In this video, I'm going to tell you all the pros and cons about buying brand new construction, and you don't want to miss it. And I got a question for you. I need to know what the heck this one thing is. So stay tuned until the very end, and we're going to get to it. Well, hey there, I'm JohnRuckman. I'm the Charm City Property Dude, and in this video, we're going to go ahead and go over the pros and cons of buying brand new construction that you surely don't want to miss. But before we do me a favor, please, please, please hit the like and subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. This will help get the channel out to all the other folks that want to move to Baltimore, Maryland, and the surrounding counties. I do appreciate it. And while we're on the subject of that, you can always, if you're thinking about it, hit the book one-on-one consultation call with me. It's free of charge. Don't worry. I get a lot of phone calls from folks just like you. They're stressed out. They're moving into the area. They have no idea about the city. They have no idea about the counties. Let me be a beacon of light for you. No matter what day, night, or weekend that you call, don't worry. I've got your back when it comes to real estate. All right, so the pros and cons of brand new construction. Well, first and foremost, we're in a market where the housing, it's definitely a seller's market. There's a caveat to both here. It's definitely a seller's market, which means you put your house on the market, you've got 5 offers by the end of sundown, and you're getting $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 above asking price. Now, the government did come out and try to slow that down, but unfortunately, they raised the interest rates to like 9%, then they went back to 6%. So now it's scared kind of the market away, but the buyers are still out there. The buyers are still out in full force. The unfortunate part about all this is I don't know if the regulations were too tight or they really did a great job, but back in like 2005 and 6, the mortgage interest rates cracked down on their ability to lend money, and they were really dotting their T's, dotting their I's, crossing their T's, and making sure that nobody would go into foreclosure. And then all of a sudden, people were like stating they worked for McDonald's, and they were stating they made $125,000, and they were defaulting on the first payment. So they made all these regulations to make it tighter. The market is cylindrical, which means that it's going to come back. So right now we're in this big crazy mad dash for housing, and it's slowly going to go to the same direction it went back in 2007 and 8, which means people were defaulting. There were a ton of short sales. There were a ton of foreclosures. And I haven't seen the amount of foreclosures or short sales yet. Now, I don't understand if it's because they really tightened down the regulations or we had this big, massive thing called the pandemic where, they made everybody wear a face mask and you were talking like this and I couldn't breathe, and I didn't wash my face mask for like 3 years. So anyway, the pandemic kind of put a moratorium on foreclosure. So now we have this crushing lack of housing, which when there's lack of housing like that, then all of a sudden the government starts releasing places where they can build new homes. And that's great. But the con to that is while there is new construction available, the prices of new construction are going to be really expensive. For instance, I know like the average sales price of a townhouse was $225 to $250 resale. On new construction, the average price of a townhouse is starts at $385, $400,000. And it's like, and by the time you put the bump out and you put the recessed lighting in and you put all these other things in, you're up to $400,000 on a townhouse. The good news is that there are some affordable places to buy. For instance, like in White Marsh, there was Greenlee, and they were single family homes. The downside to the brand new construction is you have these humongous single family houses and your neighbor is this close. You literally, and they're all like cookie cutter houses. And when you get inside, it is like a paradise island inside. It was like, oh my gosh, they had everything you could possibly want inside the house. One of the cons to new construction is you are subject to exactly what the builder is building. There's like, if for whatever reason you wanted a sunk-in living room, but that particular new construction didn't have a sunk-in living room, you would make an adjustment to your living style as far as that is concerned. So that is definitely a con. Would be they're more expensive, and you have very limited ability to create your own thing. But the good news is there's enough stuff that you can pick from. So when you go into new construction, if you've never done it before, when you go into resale, for instance, you go into resale, the house is done. You can change the paint, you can change the carpet, you could even change windows and stuff like that at an expense. But when you go into new construction, when I say you're picking out the color of the cabinets, you're picking out the color of the knobs, you're picking out the color of the floor, you're picking out the color of the carpet, you're picking out the color of the light fixtures. You get recessed lighting. You get to pick for an extra $120. You can put extra plugs in each room. So you have all these choices. However, the con to this is, and I flip and fix houses myself. So when they say luxury, be careful, because honestly, a lot of times these new constructions, they use the cheapest materials they can find. Now, while the countertops are granite, don't misunderstand, they're granite countertops. But when I say they're like the cheapest granite countertops they can find, and they're charging premium granite countertop prices for the cheapest ones. Like, I can put in a rehab, I can put granite countertops in. I could probably do 12-foot of countertop for $1,500. In new construction, they're charging you 10 to 15,000. Not to mention, on resale, you can get like a decent lot. So you got an end lot and you've got it that's nice. They're not charging any extra for this corner lot. But in new construction, okay, you get the house and they put you on a premium lot that might back to woods or backs to a sediment pond, and they want to charge you $25,000 extra. You have to watch the added expenses on new construction, because they can add up really, really quick. Now, some contractors, the new contractors, they will offer you, like, if you use their financing department, they'll offer you like $5,000 in goodies or closing costs, which is the norm. But on resale, you can always have the sellers kick back or contribute $5,000 towards your closing. So it's really, I don't know if that just kind of equals itself out. However, if you're still the type of person that says, I definitely want a brand new house, and your significant other wants to pick everything out, that's great. Just be aware of the added cost, because when I say it adds up very quickly, where you can have an electrician add you a couple plugs in resale, which would be a couple of $100, and new construction, they'll say, well, we have a package. It's $150 per plug or $150 per recessed lighting. And now all of a sudden you're like, okay, so that's kind of the warning there. They do give benefits in new construction for using their own finance department. And the good news is I can certainly show new construction as long as I make the introduction. So this is how real estate works. So real estate, I'm a real estate agent. Real estate agents help you buy and sell resale. Resale, that means somebody owns the house and I go in and I show you the house. That's traditional. I also get referrals. So for instance, if you come in and it's not something I usually work with, I refer you to my assistant. The real estate agent still gets paid. So then when you're buying new construction, if I make the introduction to the new construction, they'll handle everything. I'm there to hold hands. Don't misunderstand. I'm there as in solidarity. But new construction would rather, and this is a con with you, they would rather me hand you to them and say, okay, good luck. I'm still here, but they don't want any interference from me. And a lot of times what they do is they'll offer to pay me. It doesn't come out of your pocket. Offers to pay me. And that's the good news. When you're a buyer's agent, the buyers don't usually pay the agent. It is the sellers that pay the agent. So the problem is that new construction, they don't want the agent to come in and interfere with anything. They will handle the process from start to finish, which is really nice. But if you need some hand holding, we can be friends. I still, when I have to make the introduction in order to get paid. That's all I'm saying. And it's really easy. The new construction will guide you step by step by step by step. Again, if you want something odd, like for instance, you don't like the configuration of the deck, you like to have another deck. Well, the contractors build everything cookie cutter. So it's not, there's no offsetting. So for instance, if you wanted the fire pit in the backyard, that would be something that would be on you. Whereas the contractors don't usually do that. If you wanted tray ceilings, unless they offered tray ceilings, and that's when you look up at the ceiling, you see like the box around, that's a tray ceiling. Unless they particularly offer that, you can't get that. So that's new construction. Oh, and the good news, a pro to new construction is you actually will save taxes for the first couple of years in new construction. However, there is a con to this. Usually in new neighborhoods, they have an HOA. Can't tell you what the HOA is because the whole neighborhood hasn't been completed. However, they will pass on the service charge that goes with hooking everybody up to public water. So that is a whole thing. That's the thing right there too. You will have the latest and greatest, sprinklers and all that inside the house. Whereas in resale, you wouldn't have any of that stuff. You might have an added tax if they ran new water lines or something through the neighborhood. But your HOA, they say, okay, so your HOA is $100. Well, when the entire neighborhood is finally completed, that could go substantially higher. Just depends on what they've done along the way. So, new construction always seems to pass the cost on to the consumer. And that's why sometimes when you look at new construction, they will have built a section and then they start the next section, because what they'll do is they'll use the cash flow from the one section to the next section to start building. So the contractors don't usually like to carry all that cost. And of course, at the very end, you've gotten a townhouse that was $375. Okay, you added all this stuff and you're right at like $410. You got special closing assistance because you use their financing department. Okay, and then all of a sudden at the very end they hit you with this special assessment for water and sewer, and then the neighborhood hits you with your HOA fees, which are now $300. I don't see them any higher than that unless it's a bigger single family home. So there's some added cost associated with that. So when you're buying new construction, make sure you don't max out what you can afford, because I assure you, everything you see is not going to remain the same until that neighborhood is completely finished. So those were the pros and cons of new construction. By all means, I'm more than happy to help anybody out get into new construction. We've got a lot of great places that are in and around the counties that have brand new houses, things that when you walk in, you're like, wow, I saw this cell phone charger. You push the button in the countertop in the kitchen and it raises this thing up and you could put your cell phone on top of it just like that. It was pretty neat. So that's, those are the pros and cons of new construction. But again, I can help you with resale. I can help you with new construction. I pretty much can sell anything or help you buy anything you want here in the state of Maryland. So again, do me a favor, hit the like and subscribe button. If you want to book a one-on-one consultation call, that's great too. And check out this video or that video to help you out with the channel. And I'll catch you on the next video. Thank you very much for checking out the channel. It means a lot. Your time is important, and coming here and checking out these videos is awesome. Go ahead and check out these other videos for great content. My content is always up to date and the latest and greatest. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Thanks again.